All right, we out here. Good morning, everybody. Let me know in the chat if my signal is coming over to you. Man, today is just a beautiful day. This is when it pays to be studied and stubborn and not reactive and some little movable boy simp when it comes to these markets. The cataclysmic time that we're in right now, folks. It's a juicy day. Got to pop in a lip dinner here. Make sure to feel nice and ready for today's show. Woo! Gonna have some lovely, wonderful guests coming in later on today, so I'm pretty darn excited about it. It's a beautiful day. Welcome on, welcome all. Gabriel, Station C4, Linwood Jones, Sack Nasty. What up? Saw you, Nasty, in the chat with Aaron. Always hanging out with Aaron on his shows. Chili Rainbow, ready to hit hot fire. Bob from accounting, Nicole Minis Tater, all the wonderful people. Trundle the Great. My God, what a day! What a day we have. Let's pull up what we got going on, but first, make sure to follow me if you're not. We're making some headway. Broke 2,300 at Druth Crypto on Twitter. And make sure if you're getting your EDC bag together, if you're getting ready for the nasty, come on to basement.supplies. The water is just fine. If you're new to prepping, if you're just realizing the world's going to hell in a handbasket and you're here in the basement watching it, you want to get ready, just start with the EDC Everyday Carry System. A simple way to get started in being prepared for the world at large. But we got some juicy good news for crypto this morning, folks. We got Bitcoin ripping right back up above 69,000 right now. I do believe this bad boy is going to try out 70K once again. Now, as you can see, let's pull this up. Let's pull this up because we all got the news of why this happened, but really the chart also speaks to us when we're talking about this hard line. You can see the jackknife down, held at 66.39 right here. It also was a form of resistance on the 15th of May, another form of resistance on the 22nd of April, and again on the 15th of April. This has been a pretty historic line, then just smack dab in the middle of all this volume on that initial run up. Quite a juicy moment here, and if we actually do hold this as the next stair step up, my God, we are ready. So prep yourself and your bag. That's right, baby. We're prepping. My boy brought in his bug out bag too today, so he might be showing that off later on. The charts are looking juicy, folks. If we hold this level, and this is our stair stepper for the next big move, thinking 80K's right in the future for us, kind of in the closer term here. Now I'm expecting some headwinds once we get there, yes. But what's going on in the markets? Why did all this happen so quickly? CPI came in better than expected, and this is a breakdown of the CPI from Financial Juice. The devil in the details, if you may. Energy commodities, May of 2024, they fell by 3.5. Gasoline, all types fell by 3.6. Obviously, we know Joe's emptying out the strategic petroleum reserves that are meant for our military to combat inflation right as the election's coming on up. Kind of just a multi-level 6D chess scam move by the Biden organization to make everyone think that everything's okay. Electricity up 5.9. Utilities fell by 0.8. Commodities down by 1.7 if you go on the 12-month ending in 2024. And then this May 2024 is the monthly change. So really the biggest move here, and the whole reason I think that we're getting this momentary sigh of relief for risk markets and really the markets at large, is the psyop that gasoline is becoming cheaper. Really what's happening is he's emptying out our strategic petroleum reserves right in a time where we'll need them the most, because those are meant for our military and we are in a World War III situation. Though the media and no one around me seems to want to admit it, that is where we are right now. And again, this is one of those subjects where I have to remain stubborn and studied on it instead of listening to talking heads and CNN tell me that everything's going to be okay. So, seeing the devil in the details, we can see that they just scammed the system once again and momentarily brought down gasoline prices. This is the lowest month-over-month core CPI since 2020, though. That is a very, very important note to make here. If we think about the time frame of 2020, look at what Bitcoin did back in 2020. For those that weren't around, this is just a quick reminder that inflation was down. We had a pretty, right at the beginning of absolute abnormalcy becoming regular for American finance, where they decided to print gads of money, trillions of dollars. But you can see this move right around in relevance to, if we're looking at the 4-year cycle, if we smack dab put ourselves in that same time frame, we're feeling about like right here, folks. So things are looking real juicy. Seeing these levels, yes, they are scam, but the markets, Wall Street's using them to pump, and this is the lowest level since 2020 time frame. Now we look at this from Kalshi. With a cooler than expected CPI print, the expectation for rate cuts this year are spiking dramatically. A complete reversal from what all these geniuses in macro were saying over the last few weeks. Say, no, they're not going to cut rates now, you guys. Darn it. We're going to have to wait for the bull market to start. They're not going to print. I disagreed with that the whole way through. Just this morning, the odds for 2 rate cuts were at 21%. And now they are at 35% after the inflation data comes about. Good morning, Miss Tia made it, my lovely. This is just another thing. I can sit here and listen to all these macro talking heads. They, come out and hot react to information week over week. This is where it pays to look at the dirty details behind why banks are struggling, why the Federal Reserve is forced to cut rates, and then you can combine the two. And really, the things that the Fed says today at 2:30, they're going to be, in my opinion, a dovish approach. That's just where I'm thinking. And really, I do feel like we are still going to get a rate cut. I am in this camp that thinks that we're actually going to see at least 1 rate cut this year, not because they're here to save you or me, because they're here to save the banks. Now, with all of this crazy price action, this meme spoke to me. How it started. I wonder what support and resistance means. How it's going. My God, spider lines broken. Chaos in the markets. This is what leverage traders are going through right now, because this market is moving very, very violently. Like the drop yesterday, if we're just looking at that, I'm expecting to see some pretty large liquidations from all of the bearishness that popped its head yesterday. We dropped by 5% and nearly back to that original level we left off on just a few days ago. It's just absolutely incredible to see how fast this market moves, how fast the sentiment changes. And this is why you need to have a based approach to what the Fed's going to actually do. What are the implications of it? Why would they dare cut rates to begin with? It doesn't make sense, but it does make sense if you look into the devilish details. Now, this is part of those details. Regional banks, KRE, now underperforming the S&P 500 SPY by the largest margin in history, folks. This is the worst discrepancy of how the KRE is performing compared to the SP 500 ever. And you can see this graph is a quick road to hell. This is like a failed meme coin graph, probably all about crypto education, yada, yada. Not looking great. There's a reason why they're falling, though. PIMCO warning of a looming wave of U.S. regional bank failures due to troubled commercial real estate loans. My God, why is this so obvious for us and yet such alpha for people that, you know, have these fancy business degrees and run multi-million, billion-dollar organizations. I feel like they're lying. There's no way that they don't know these things. PIMCO has been snapping up CRE loans, commercial real estate loans, offloaded by some of the large U.S. banks for the past 18 months. The real wave of distress is just starting. Now, PIMCO has been snapping up these losing CRE loans, largely, in my opinion, probably to pad the problem that's on the underside. What's on the underside? Well, stuff like this. This just broke. Absolutely insane. So, a Seattle landmark sold for $115 million less than what the seller acquired it for just 5 years ago. A $115 million loss over the course of 5 years. On top of that, the dollar is worth less, much less during that same time frame. King County is acquiring the Dexter Horton building in Seattle for $36 million. The seller bought this property for $151 million in 2019. City Council approved the sale in an 8-1 vote. The commercial real estate meltdown in Seattle is beginning to go from scary to disaster. Here's a picture of the building. Quite a nice building indeed. Going for nickels on the dollar. Absolutely insane what's happening. And this is just as part of the sickness, the woke sickness that has taken over Seattle, Portland, all of those other good things. But woke doesn't stop there, folks. Woke also got these banks, these 130 regional banks that we're all so concerned about. Oh my God, they're going to die. The woke got them to invest into environmental and sustainability goals that are deep in the red, deep into the red, and actually reinstituting the use of slavery across the world. But yet no one seems to care because they like driving electric vehicles around. It is just an incredible time to be alive. It's like the people on South Park that would smell their own farts. I remember that skit well, and it's playing out pretty much to the T in today's day and age. Now, with this break in CPI data, right? The markets, the Feds are like, oh man, this is great. The average person is not feeling that way. I came across just before we went live a video that kind of explains how people are feeling. Let's show my screen here. So history doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme. This is more people showing the correlation, how we're just riding lock in step with the situation of stagflation that happened in the 70s to 80s compared to 2014 to the present. This thing is following to a T so far, and I do expect it to continue to rhyme to a large degree. This is why during this bull market right here in this zone, boy, you guarantee you I'm going to be grabbing up all of the tangible assets I can possibly get my hands on. This includes land, vehicles, hard iron goods, probably a slew of goats, maybe a cow. I don't know if the cow is going to be down, or I don't know if the cow is going to be down for the amount of area. I'm probably going to need to buy more land for that, but that's what I plan to actually do within this time frame. I expect a momentary tap out on Fed rates as they try to stave the economy from going into a free fall situation. Once they realize that they're dealing with a Mexican standoff when it comes to vehicle sales, when it comes to the commercial real estate sales, when they realize that the market is locking up, that is when they have to get feisty with it. But this video right here, we're going to check it out. Talking about CPI and all of the things within it for the average person. Because yes, they get these wonderful fancy numbers that look so good for people if they're watching the news. But if you go to the grocery store, it feels a lot different. I'll get my face out of the way.
On headline, non-seasonally adjusted, the actual index, it moved up to 314.069, a new all-time high. If we look at the core index, which is seasonally adjusted, that moved to 318.14. Guess what? A new all-time high. Those indices have never been higher, and they underscore the angst that the population has, because no matter how small the month-over changes get, the cumulative effect is substantial, and that's what these indices continue to show us on a month-over-month basis.
There it is. These levels are hitting all-time highs across the board, but yet we're celebrating a slight dip on the month-over-month metric. That is really what's going on. This is the chaos. The animal spirits are fully back. And now we're going to have the media talking to everyone about making sure the velocity of the dollar stays strong yet again. I think I got hit by more poison oak on my face. I don't know if I mentioned it yesterday, but I have been bit by a very venomous spider. I think it might have been a brown recluse. I don't know. My foot's not fallen off, thankfully, but my God, I had all of the other symptoms that go along with a brown recluse. Over the weekend, or kind of the front end this week, it got weird on me. I don't know why my mind went there. Maybe it's just the thing on my face. I play out in the woods too much, I guess, and I get bit by things, new things quite often. So now we look at this. This is where the sentiment of the average person is. Consumers think that it is the worst time in history to buy a house. This is the death of the middle class on a graph. This is your average person. This is your friends, family, loved ones, people around us in our local community are having the worst time in U.S. history sentiment-wise on buying homes. Meanwhile, you have giant corporations absolutely skyrocketing. You have people in the elite club, the club that we're not in, that are just gobbling up these things at insane rates. And now this is the visualization of the beat down middle class realizing they're being priced out of the club of any chance of ownership for themselves in a very dramatic fashion. And yes, Fade and TradFi, Trueflation has it around 25% for your actual inflation levels. This is absolutely insane to see them psyoping the people like this. It's so great. Inflation came down by 0.1%. We're going to send all of our bags to the moon. Good luck feeding your family. This is why I Bitcoin. This is why I treat crypto as my aggressive savings account, because I need something to outpace the level of inflation that's happening to the average person. There's no way I'd be able to provide for my family in the way that I need to without being involved in crypto. And it's given me a lot of empowerment over the past few cycles by doing so. So shout out to everyone that's in the chat, sitting here watching this. I mean, you guys realize that retail still is not back. We are sitting here in the basement, stacking altcoins that are actually doing really, really well. And the rest of the world, the rest of the markets are falling behind. This is why it's so important that I wake up every day, put my boots on, look at the sky. And what a beautiful morning today. What a beautiful morning, and a great feeling for the markets resurging and that power just not going away. And really, it's only seeming to hit up. And shout out to you, $0 Giro with the gifted memberships. You're supporting this channel. You're supporting my family. You're supporting this entire team and the family with it, with your gifting of the membership and keeping me going. I am going to be dropping the very first black site video today. Now, it is so spicy that I made the video. Oh my God, there's Johnny creeping on me. I made the video last night. I got it all edited. It's got some very, very spicy direct information, and I am going to be releasing it on the members for Black site here on YouTube. And I am damn excited. That's really where I thrive, where I can just take the censorship chains off and run free into the open wild. So, and I appreciate you guys for supporting this channel and making a place like that happen. It's all on you guys for lifting this up, bringing this channel to the level it's at. I mean, the channel's absolutely going crazy. We're about to hit 56,000 subs, and I can't thank you enough. So $0. I got another gift coming to you too, dude. It's sitting on Morel's desk. I'll go get him after the show and get that thing sent out. So now on the reg side, some things that we can't have that are nice. We got this, the block talking about MetaMask launching pooled staking for Ethereum, excluding the United States and the UK users. Wonderful. Just more things that we can't have. Just absolutely insane. And it's good to see MetaMask launching this for, people outside the jurisdiction, but quite aggravating to see that it's still locked from American users. Crypto Breezy, thanks for the alpha. See you later. Also, does BJ still work there? BJ has taken on his own venture. He's running the Thumbfin and running some other productions, but I still talk to BJ all the time, and I'm sure he's going to be popping back on the show. Just, life's coming at him, and he's making some big moves. He's probably going to be a billionaire off of this Thumbfin idea, honestly, if you're asking me. Now, where we're going with this, the world is waking. It's aggravating here in the US that we can't get access to all the different products that are out there. But this was a very, very cool visualization of monthly search volume for Bitcoin. And just for context, let's go to Google Trends and see. I'm guessing that we're still in the trenches when it comes to the Bitcoin interest, but this is actually a good thing for you and me. Anyone that's involved with crypto right now is because we're beating the masses to the Bitcoin upswing. So let's talk about Bitcoin. Let's go to the past 5 years, and it'll give you a nice representation of exactly where overall Google search interest is for Bitcoin. It is in the trenches, folks. Absolutely in the trenches. Interest by sub-region. Interesting to see that Nevada is the highest hit point for Bitcoin. You would think it would be New York because they suck so bad, and basically just rip every hope of any family trying to make it out alive in New York in a financial manner, gone and in the wind. Search interest at 78, the highest interested state in Nevada, interestingly enough. But this is very interesting. I saw this. I'm just going to let this play. I don't really need the sound for it. Now, this is a monthly search volume for Bitcoin. USA dominating from 2015. You can see Germany up there, India kind of flip-flopping for a few years. Brazil on the upswing, a little bit of ebb and flow on Brazil. UK wants a little bit of it, but you know what? They just can't have nice things. And then we have Canada and France at the bottom. But you see this. Look at Germany and Brazil, how they react. This is 2019. This is when the big bull market's ready to go. Brazil, big pump in the end of 2019. And we fast forward to right now, where we are. China, well, no, that's Turkey. China's still in the very low range. Brazil overtaking the United States in search volume for Bitcoin. This is pretty awesome to see. This is people that are, in my opinion, they need it the most. In situations where their fiat currency is actually losing value much faster than the United States. We can sit here and yell till the cows come home in the United States about our inflation rates, but my heart does go out to people across the world. Brazil coming out and actually being the highest search volume for Bitcoin for the month of May. Very interesting for me to see. US still holding on, very strong interest. But you know what? I do expect, the release of Chinese, basically Chinese mainland citizens to be able to access Bitcoin. I think that they're going to be a contender here as well. So nice to see that. Now, Elizabeth Warren getting called out by Ryan Selkis last night. Ryan Selkis was on a tangent. Since Elizabeth Warren is trying to destroy my industry, I'm thinking about getting into politics so that I can grift my way into 8 figures the American way, selling out to DC interests like Pocahontas did. Elizabeth Warren, salary of $280,000 a year, monthly income $400,000 USD, date of birth 1949, age 73 years, height 5'7". So she's really killing it there, making laws and trading around the laws that she makes. No conflict of interest, I'm sure, involved with that at all, right? This is normal. So now, all this is, if you try to stay out of politics, but you're in crypto, you just can't. Politics chooses us, folks. And Trump coming out talking about he's going to advocate for Bitcoin miners in the White House. Trump has recently taken an active pro-crypto position for the upcoming November election, telling participants he would advocate for Bitcoin mining in the White House, saying that miners contribute to the energy grid stability. Participants of the meetings at Trump's Palm Beach resort include representatives from NASDAQ-listed Bitcoin firm CleanSpark. What up, dudes? This is very cool to see CleanSpark up there. Riot Platforms, several of whom had pictures with the former president. Just ran into a guy that's a huge fan of Bitcoin and loves what we're doing here at CleanSpark in Georgia and Mississippi and Wyoming. Matthew Schultz, co-founder of CleanSpark, wrote on X. This is so cool. Met Matthew Schultz when we went there to interview him. Very cool to see him listed here. Trump's crypto embrace earned him the support of a number of leaders in the industry, as seen from his $12 million fundraising event in the Silicon Valley. And this fundraising event, the $12 million he grabbed out of Silicon Valley, this was very surprising to me because many of these leaders in Silicon Valley were likely the ones behind the desk pushing forward the censorship against him last market, or last, I guess you can call an election market or election cycle a market. I really feel like the election cycle paired with the Bitcoin 4-year cycle is not a mistake at all. Gemini founders Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss, amongst the others, last month that went in and gave him some fundraising. Trump announced last month that he's also going to accept political donations in the form of cryptocurrencies. He's really leaning into this crypto embrace, and it's a very, very intelligent move. He's leaning into the average middle and lower class, highlighting that he wants to cut taxes on tips. And I doubt that a lot of those earners even report their tips, because it's just such a slap in the face, have a low paying job, and then you get taxed on the tips for working that low paying job. It's just disgusting, the piling of taxes and control that we see from our government and from governments around the world. This is getting weird here in Scotland, folks. I would talk about Wall Street silver. Asking if everything's okay up in Scotland. 6 months in jail or $5,000 fine if you do not register that you keep even one chicken in Scotland. Starts on September 1st of 2024. This is insane to think about. But honestly, if I roll my mind back to me in Boulder County, cesspool, hellhole of liberals of the United States, a large transfer of those from Silicon Valley came to Boulder and took over the location. And during flu season, it was honestly damn near illegal for me to have chickens. And you know what? Flipped them the bird. Pun intended. I flipped them the bird. I put the chickens on my property anyways. Now, yes, it was kind of problematic because I didn't have enough land, and it turned into a big, big issue just personally for me and the family. So that's why I got rid of them, because at a point it just got a little bit much. But you know what? Just them telling me that I couldn't have it made me just lean into it more and more. And they were telling us that we couldn't have chickens while, there was talks of all these food shortages. Hey, you might not be able to feed your family, but don't you dare have protein on a hoof in your backyard. It's just the insanity of the world we live in right now, folks. It's absolutely incredible. And with that insanity, this was really weird. And I'm probably going to have to make a more detailed black site video about all this breaking. Kevin Spacey. Let's have a listen to what Kevin Spacey's talking about when he's bringing up the Epsteins. Seems like he's doing a little bit of cover for himself. Let's check it out.
In 2015, I started seeing reports online, things on my Twitter account that I had flown to this guy Jeffrey Epstein's island and I had abused young girls. And I was like, if you'd asked me in 2015, maybe even if you'd asked me in 2002, did I know a guy named Jeffrey Epstein? I probably would have said no. Well, of course, I have since learned who he is. And I have since been able to go back and find out that the airplane that we flew on for this humanitarian mission was owned by Jeffrey Epstein. And to then learn, he was actually on some of those flights. And this Maxwell woman was on some of those flights. I didn't know him. I've never spent any time with him. I was with the Clinton Foundation people. That's who I was with. Now, what I understand is that he didn't start to be investigated until 2005 by authorities in Florida. Now,
Look at this face.
I've never spent any time with him. I was with the Clinton Foundation people. That's who I was with.
This is a man of great concern. Look at the face. I was with the Clinton Foundation. I knew nothing. I didn't know that it was his plane or that Epstein was a CIA plant that used blackmail and sexual endeavors with leaders of the world to blackmail them into submission. I didn't know any of this. I was just there with the Clinton Foundation. I had no idea there was underage girls. I had no idea. It's just absolutely disgusting. He is doing some damage control ahead of time. The look on his face tells me everything that I need to know. And you know what? What about his accuser's death? These are the types of situations where it's like, yeah, we have a rule of law. It should take care of the situation. Doesn't feel like the rule of law is doing what the American people want by letting sick psychos like this guy, Clintons, wander around and have these logs of transport with Epstein. This is all out there. And yet we're supposed to believe that he knew nothing. He's innocent. We shouldn't be coming after him. At a point, you better take care of this one. You better take care of this one rule of law in America. Tree of Liberty, very hungry, very thirsty. The thirst has grown over the years, and we can say that with a smile on our face, especially since people like this are still talking heads in the mainstream media. People still listen to them. It's absolutely insane. Now, before we go, I just want to give a highlight. IO, this token that we found yesterday, this thing is moving, you guys. So IO is absolutely ripping. It's at $5.23 right now. Brand new token. Honestly, I'm not really thrilled that this thing moves so fast. Shout out to anyone that got this. I am going to be building a bag of IO, but it is absolutely ripping. And something interesting to note on the price action for alts in relevance to the collapse yesterday, right? We had just, oh my God, it's all over. Look at Ondo. No F's given on the 7-day, literally no F's given all the way back up here to $1.37. Feeling good about that one. And then Injective. And the reason why I'm highlighting this is I'm looking at the most violent bouncers from this Bitcoin correction. Injective, definitely in there at $32 right now. This is incredible to see. It's just nice to see that we're finding the ones that have the best velocity in crypto, because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to compound my gains. I'm here to buy more houses for all my children, and I am dead set on this. I feel like I'm positioned in a perfect spot. Watching the Aether launch this week. Actually, I think that actually does come. Trundle, drop me a message. I think that we actually have an Aether token drop coming this week. And that's another one that I'm going to be scooping up. So pretty incredible to see all of this bullishness. And now Taco was highlighting he's seeing some of his crazy TA juju popping up in a bullish manner for Ethereum. And I have the opinion that Ethereum wants to try out this all-time high. I think that we're actually going to see it in a shorter amount of time than we think. The all-time high is sitting around $4,800. Ethereum wants it so bad. It's been lagging behind Bitcoin, and now it's got a TTF. All of the good things are happening. Dirty Dan had the biggest pump. You're right. You're right. I woke up and looked at the bump chart this morning. It looks like some crazy buys are going down on that token. So shout out to the community for holding the line strong. Become the wall that is immovable, and we will absolutely. I mean, that token's very capable of chaos. That is a nano cap. If it even gets sniffed by the rest of the crypto market, you better hold on to your pantalones there. But shout out to everyone in the chat. We're gonna bust over to DC Crypto. Got Nicole Minnis, KO Kev, Deadwood, Dirt Dan, Bob from accounting, Laserface. What is up? Is it raining here in Georgia? Let me know, Laserface. I might want to go outside and check that out. Ready to hit hot fire. Trundle the Great, Rockanor, all the people from the basement. I appreciate every single one of you and your support of this channel. You guys are just the absolute bedrock of this. You make it possible for me to list out all of the dirty truths, all of the dirty details that I am releasing in the black site. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for making that possible. It's felt like I've had a muzzle over my mouth the last 4 years, and it's finally been released. This channel's just getting started, and you better get ready, because once I get running through the prairie, it's going to be hard to put me back in. So appreciate every single one of you. I'll see you at 2 p.m. and may our bags continue to pump. Peace out.